Family Chiropractic. Today, our webinar is on well adjusted babies. This is a topic that I could talk for hours on, and I'm going to do my best to condense it to about 20-30 minutes. So hang with me. I would love to hear feedback. The chat is open. So if you have any questions, thoughts, comments of any kind, please go ahead and just type them in the chat box. And I am speaking today as a natural health care provider who specializes in babies and children from newborn, the tiniest of newborns, all the way through development, through adults and grandparents, but really a focus on mama preconceptively, through pregnancy, postpartum, and then babies and children all through their development. So this is a passion of mine. It's a calling of mine to care for babies and children and truly to see them thrive and be the happiest, healthiest babies possible. And every baby's unique. Every family dynamic is unique. These are going to be overview tips and tricks and things, as well as just basic foundational understanding of babies and what their needs are and how you can help them thrive and be the happiest, healthy babies possible. So I'm speaking as a natural health care provider with years of experience caring for moms and babies and seeing these babies overcome challenges and see these babies thrive. I'm also speaking as a mama of two. I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 6-month-old little boy, and both of them are happy, healthy, and thriving. And, I thought I knew a lot when I became a mom, and I've learned so much in the last 4.5 years as a mom as well to share my experience there. And I know every mama has a wealth of experience. So, moms, dads, if you're on here watching live, go ahead and type in the chat box things that maybe you think of as I speak that have helped you help your babies thrive and be as happy and healthy as possible. So what we're going to dive into today is first the beginning. A child's health, a person's health, but especially as a baby and a child, their health outcomes begin preconceptively and in pregnancy, in utero, and through their birth experience. So if you are family planning, thinking about becoming a mom or a dad in the future, the best thing you can do now is start to apply these concepts as early as possible. And the health of your body preconceptively determines the health of your pregnancy and then postpartum as well. And it's super important for mama to be healthy through these stages for herself and her long term health and experience as a mom, but also for baby's health. So when you think preconceptive health, you're thinking maximizing nutritional needs, being as balanced and aligned in your nervous system as you can be, and decreasing toxic load. And so we're going to go into all of those things because they apply to every stage. All of that applies in pregnancy. So once you conceive your baby from the very beginning, you want to be maximizing your nutritional needs. The book Real Food for Pregnancy is amazing. I highly recommend reading that preconceptively too, to prepare your body for pregnancy and the demands on your body. So maximizing nutrition, physical fitness, staying optimally aligned and functioning through chiropractic care, keeping your nervous system balanced and your structure in alignment, exercising properly for your body and the phases of life that you're in, and also minimizing your overall stress. Mom's stress directly impacts baby's stress prenatally. So a mom's nervous system, the brain, spinal cord, and all the connecting nerves directly link into the uterus, into baby's nervous system. And baby's nervous system is the very first system to develop. The brain and spinal cord develop, and then every other system develops off of the nervous system. And mom's nervous system has a huge impact on baby's tone, and the imprints that they receive from mom really determine so much of how well they can handle stress and adapt to stress. So if you want to have a happy, healthy baby, ideally you're thinking of all these things preconceptively throughout your pregnancy. And then the way that you birth matters. Every birth is unique. Birth is a wild ride, and oftentimes twists and turns and things don't go as expected, and that's okay. And when I say well-adjusted baby, you're going to think, oh, they get adjusted. They're, seeing a pediatric chiropractor. Yes, that's a big part of this. But when you think well-adjusted, it means they can adjust. They can adapt to the stressors of life. So you want to have the least stressful birth on you and baby as possible, but you also want to set your baby up so that if they are experiencing any stress early on, whether it be through birth or whatnot, that they can adjust and adapt to it. And we can help with that as well. So really, when you're preconceptively and when you're pregnant, really think about your birth. Think about who's on your team. Think about your ideal birth, but then also consider the different turns that birth can take and how are you going to make decisions in those circumstances. And I have a whole separate webinars on births and the different types of traumas that can happen for mom and baby, but you really want to minimize stress, minimize trauma. Who you have on your team, where you birth, and how prepared you are for birth can really make a big difference. And then of course there are circumstances that you can be in that you need to overcome, and then really focusing on healing postpartum for you and baby is huge. And that's one of our passions and what we do at Pure Light as well, with prenatal and postpartum adjustments and also newborn adjustments. So I could do a whole webinar just on the importance of preconceptive, prenatal, and postpartum well-being for mom and how that impacts baby. But today we're really focusing on babies and how can you have a well-adjusted baby to be the happiest and healthiest baby possible. That's what we all want. We want to see our babies happy and healthy and thriving. And I'm really going to focus on that first year of life, from newborn through 1 year of age. And all of these principles and concepts can absolutely apply all through childhood and life, but we're really going to focus on that first year. So the biggest things that baby needs, I narrowed it down to 4 biggest things that they need. One is love and connection from their caregivers. Usually this primarily is going to be their mama. And it's really important, again, postpartum, that mom is supported, that mom is taken care of, that mom is nourished, that mom is not depleted and exhausted and fatigued, that mom is happy. Because the better mom is, the more mom can connect and bond with baby, the better the breastfeeding dyad is going to be, the relationship is going to be. So more than anything, love and connection is so important. And it doesn't obviously have to all come from mom. It's important for dad to be in the picture as much as possible, especially in that beginning time, to support mom and be there and bonding with baby. Living around your family is ideal. Having support from your close family members, because there's nothing like family when you need help with your babies, because they're going to love your babies just as much as you do. And then having a tribe, having that community support for, people bringing you meals and helping with baby while mom takes care of herself a little bit, and, really having that balance that you don't have to be isolated. You don't have to do it all alone. So it's important for baby to have that love and connection, and also from mom, but also that love and connection from the whole community. The love and the connection is so important for their brain development in so many ways. Number one, it's that oxytocin bliss of when you connect with your baby, there's this flood of oxytocin and joy and health in their bodies. There's been MRIs done, if you've seen them, of a mom and a baby, and when they look inside the brain, they can see certain areas of the brain really light up when mom just kisses baby on the forehead. And there's this flood of oxytocin from mom and baby and other caregivers too. So when they receive this love, it's really triggering their brain and their neurology for proper development. And that oxytocin is just so important for that. There's also the eye contact and the facial connection. When you look into a baby's eyes and you talk to them and you build that connection, you're stimulating the vagus nerve. If you haven't heard of the vagus nerve, we have whole webinars specifically on this topic. But the vagus nerve is basically the part of the nervous system that allows us to adapt and rest, digest. And also we have a social vagus nerve as human beings. And the social vagus nerve gets triggered, and it helps them develop their connection and ability to communicate and be expressive. And so if you've heard of mirror neurons are basically when the brain is developing facial expressions. So a baby looks at you and they see you smile, and these mirror neurons, they mirror you. So then they smile, and these mirror neurons just multiply and allow them to express their feelings and their emotions and their connection and their love and their empathy And it's just the foundation of who they are as a person and their personality. It's just incredible. So love and connection is a huge, huge thing. If that is like, if out of all of these things, that's like the most important thing that a baby needs for also for their attachment style. So attachment styles is a great other topic as well. I think I might do a separate webinar on. But really, do you have an anxious attachment with your in your life with relationships? Do you have a secure attachment, an insecure attachment, an avoidant attachment? All of these attachment styles that adults display in their relationships start when you're a baby. So how were you attached to your caregivers? And ideally, you want to have a secure, healthy attachment. And that begins with caregivers who are responsive and attentive and loving. And babies, there's some tall tales out there that babies are self-soothing and that they can soothe themselves. That's false. Babies need co-regulation. They need help soothing until some research says up till 4 or 5 years old. And to think that a baby is okay to just soothe themselves and oh, they'll eventually stop crying, or oh, they'll just get used to you not coming to them right away. Yes, they will become desensitized. And what happens is they go into a fight or flight stress response to the point where they go into parasympathetic shutdown, where their nervous system realizes that the energy that they're outputting as they're asking for help and they're communicating to their caregivers and not getting a response, they'll go into shutdown mode. And we do not need shutdown human beings on this planet. We need open, loving, receptive, expressive people on this planet. And that begins by being responded to and loved fully and wholly and completely as a baby. So again, if you don't listen to anything else in this whole webinar, except that love and connection is the biggest piece of the puzzle, to have a happy, healthy baby, then we're good. And truly, most parents love their babies more than anything in the whole world. And so if you're already doing that, you're doing great. You got most of it covered. And then the rest are things that are going to support their growth and development. And you're doing the best you can. It's enough. Your best is enough. It's not easy taking care of these sweet little babies. They require a lot of sacrifice from you. They require a lot of exhaustion and overcoming whole new routines of life. So it's not easy, but if you're loving and caring and being there for them, then you're doing a great job. And if it feels extra hard, please ask for help from your community. Support yourself as a caregiver so that you can be there to be responsive and healthy and kind and loving and joyful with your baby. It is such a fleeting time. It's so fast. Okay, so we're going to jump on into the next thing. So number 1, love and connection. Number 2 is going to be optimal neurology. So again, neurology, nervous system, we're talking brain and nervous system and how the brain communicates to every other single cell and tissue and organ in the body, and how in that first year of life, your baby's brain and neurology are going to develop faster and more than any other time in their entire life. So how can you optimize their neurology? Number 1 thing, I'm a pediatric newborn specialist, a chiropractor. Getting your baby checked and seen as soon as possible after birth is essential. Being adjusted preconceptively and through your pregnancy, also amazing and essential. And birth is stressful on baby, even if it's the most ideal, perfect home water birth. They're still going to have stress in their body. My son was born 6-hour labor at home in the water by the fireplace at sunrise. Like literally every prayer I had about my birth was answered, and it was amazing. He still needed an adjustment as soon as possible after birth. Coming through the birth canal, whatever position they're in, crammed in the uterus at the very end of pregnancy, and just the stress of coming through. There's tension throughout their system that's going to impact their neurology. And when you can clear out that stress in their nervous system as soon as possible, it gives them the best advantage. It sets them up for the most success as they grow and develop. So I can't stress that enough. Adjustments as early as possible. We adjust our children once a week as a wellness routine. We often recommend that to families because we recommend what we would recommend for our own families to our patients at our office. And at least once a month, getting adjusted and clearing out any tension or stress that builds up in the body to set them up to be the healthiest baby possible. And other than chiro care, healing that stress from birth. There's also, it's important for development and optimizing neurology for them to be in the best positions. So, most of the time, if baby is not being held by you, whether baby wearing, tummy time, skin to skin, breastfeeding, if they're not being held by you, then they should be on the floor. They should be on tummy time or on their back, exploring their toes. They should have freedom to move around. Of course, they're going to need to be put in a car seat once in a while to go for drives here and there, but they shouldn't be in the car seat for more than that. They should be able, ideally, to be on their tummy, and they should be enjoying tummy time. If a baby does not enjoy tummy time, then that is a red flag that they have excess stress and tension or injury in their body, sprain, strain in their body from the birth process or other things. And it's important to get that cleared out by a pediatric chiropractor. If you do not live local in Central Oregon and don't have access to Pure Light, please reach out to us. We can connect you with a colleague in wherever you live to help, who focuses and has the training that we do as well to care for these newborns. And you want them to be on the floor. Really, no contraptions are best. So you don't need any of the bumbos or boppies or swings or things. Sometimes it's good to have them in a little swing for a short time if you need to take a shower and just have them contained. But even if they're on their tummy time or back on their crib, in a safe place, where you need to just have them contained for a minute while you do certain things. But most of the time they should just be on the floor, exploring and moving their body. That really helps their brain develop optimally and reach those developmental milestones early or on time. Most chiro babies, we call them, are babies who are well adjusted from birth. They hit these milestones really, really early. Like, people are like, what? They're already this or that, or just perfectly on time. There's not a whole lot of delayed development when babies' nervous systems are clear and they're receiving all that encouragement and love and support. So, let me just make sure I said everything I want to say. Oh, and then in terms of healthy neurology too, sleep is really important. And I'm literally doing another webinar on sleep in April next month. So I'll dive more into infant sleep and the ABCs of all of that. But having healthy patterns of sleep, so healthy wake windows, not being awake for more than their development calls for, and then having healthy sleep patterns of waking and sleeping. And if they're not having healthy patterns of waking and sleeping, that is also a red flag that there is an overload of stress in their neurology that we need to work with. Getting adjusted helps with sleep so much, helps with colic and reflux issues so much. Any digestive stress, any tension or stress that a baby is expressing in their body, getting adjusted helps with. And I see this over and over and over and over again, speaking from experience. And so having those healthy sleep patterns, there are certainly guides and books and people out there who can help you learn more about sleep. The more you know, again, knowledge is power. The more you know about what to expect with a baby with their sleep, the more you can release your stress around it. There's a lot of misconceptions around infant sleep, but the more you can know about what it looks like for a normal baby to have their wake windows and sleep windows during the day and at night, the more you can set yourself up for success for your baby to have those healthy patterns of sleep. Because when they're sleeping, they're growing and they need that healthy sleep. And so do you. Because when you sleep, you rejuvenate and you heal. So sleep patterns are essential. Okay, so we talked about love and connection, optimal neurology. The third thing is going to be optimal nutrition. So I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've heard that the best thing for a baby to have nutritionally is human breast milk from their mama. So I would do, as a mom, everything in your power, everything possible. Go into your breastfeeding journey that, no matter how hard it is, you're going to overcome it. That mindset is going to be essential. Sometimes the breastfeeding journey is easy for some moms, and that's great. But most of the time, there are challenges to overcome, and it's not easy right away. It's a learning experience. There's a learning curve, especially if you're a first-time mom. Having support, seeing an IBCLC lactation consultant while you're pregnant to prep yourself for breastfeeding will be helpful. And then also having home visits with a lactation consultant as soon as possible. When baby's born, they're going to help you so much learn the positions, how to get the best latch. They're going to be able to assess and see if baby has any oral ties or restrictions that are preventing them from breastfeeding properly. and that might be causing you pain and discomfort. So, and then also getting your baby adjusted as soon as possible sets them up for breastfeeding success because it clears any torticollis, plagiocephaly, tension, stress in their body, allows them to turn their head fully, open their jaw fully, and heal any of that birth stress that's preventing them from nursing properly. So getting that breast milk is essential for mom's milk supply. The best thing you can do to ensure proper milk supply is to reduce your stress loads and make sure that you're getting the optimal nutrition that you need and that you're healing well from your birth and that you have the support that you need. So again, breast milk, breast milk. Breast milk is super duper important, but of course, there are situations, there are circumstances where it's just not going to happen. It's not going to work, whether due to mom's milk supply or baby is just not latching properly. They have severe oral ties. There are things that come up where it just is not going to work, or mom's mental health is just not there to persist through. And it's okay. There are alternatives. The best alternative is going to be donor milk from another mother. The second best alternative is going to be goat milk formula. Holly brand from Germany is the best one that you can order. And then homemade breast milk is another one that I know a lot of moms have done great with. The Weston A. Price Foundation, if you look them up online, they have really great recipes on that. So giving them the best milk possible. A human breast milk, of course, is going to be made specifically for a growing human, and that is ideal. But with breast milk, you want to reduce toxins. And in our day and age, with the plastics and the pesticides and the genetically modified foods and the heavy metals and everything in our toxic environment, all of that inevitably gets into our bodies as mothers, and then it can get into our breast milk as well. And it's alarming how much can be found in breast milk toxin wise that goes through our lymphatic system as mothers and gets right into the breast milk. And so we want to reduce and limit our toxic exposure as much as possible. Again, preconceptively and prenatally and postpartum as you're breastfeeding, because the baby's going to pick up all those toxins as well. And the more toxins and heavy metals and stress in their body, the less they're going to be healthy and happy and well adjusted and thriving. So reduce toxins. You can reduce toxins by reducing any sort of medications, by reducing pesticide use in and around your home, as well as reducing where you go where there's pesticides. Like unfortunately, any really bright green grassy area in a city is going to be filled with pesticides. You want to limit your pesticides in the foods that you eat. So you want to limit genetically modified foods, and you want to limit non-organic foods. So organic, whole food-based foods, clean of pesticides are the best option. Of course, local is always best. We're coming into the spring season here where we're going to have farmers markets picking up again, and that will be a great way to get those healthy foods. You want to limit medications, vaccinations. You want to limit toxic household products. Environmental Working Group, ewg.org or .com, EWG. Environmental Working Group is this amazing nonprofit that has put together loads of resources and information to determine different products that are on the market and how safe they are to be in your home. This includes household cleaners, laundry detergents, skincare products, hair care products, all those things. Also, you can download an app or go on their website for Think Dirty, I think it's called. And you can type in, like, you can even scan the barcode on some of your products at home, and it tells you how toxic it is. And there's so many good options nowadays for products that are clean and healthy, but you have to be careful because there's greenwashing. Greenwashing is a company that markets really, really well to make it look like it's a clean product, but it's actually filled with chemicals and toxins. So you really want to limit as much as possible chemicals and toxins in your household, because baby is going to be exposed to all of those. You want to make sure that your air filters in your home are clear and clean, especially in the summer. If it's fire season and there's smoke outside, you want to limit that coming into your house. So getting good quality air filters, air purifiers like Air Doctor is a good one. Having an air purifier running, especially in the bedroom where the baby sleeps, and throughout your home is really essential. You want to buy products that don't off-gas a lot of flame retardants, like car seats. Nuna is a great brand that doesn't have flame retardants or chemicals in it. And if you're pregnant right now, buy those products as early as possible or have them gifted to you. And then off-gas them outside or in your garage. And then by the time baby's born, a lot of the off-gassing is going to be gone. Same with furniture. If you're buying like a new crib or furniture for the baby's room, buy it early, let it off-gas, get those chemicals, open up the windows. You want to decrease those chemicals as much as possible. It sounds like a small thing, but if you think about the toxic load that we have in our environment and how much that's going to impact a tiny little new baby, it's really important to limit those toxins as much as possible. So, and breast milk as well. And then, so breast milk, ideally, even the World Health Organization says that ideally a child is breastfed until at least 2 years of age, but the American Academy of Pediatrics says up to at least 1 year of age. I breastfed my daughter up until she was 2.5. It was great. At that point, I was feeling done. She was feeling done. Some babies go longer. That's beautiful too. Some babies do less. That's okay too. Every baby's different, but really set the goal for sometimes it's like, I'm going to breastfeed for at least a year. And then you get to a year and you're like, oh, we're going to keep going. Or maybe sometimes you're done, and really setting your goal to go to at least a year is key for a baby to have that optimal nutrition and receive all that goodness from the mama milk that they can. And then around 6 to 12 months, oftentimes babies will be interested in starting solid foods. So what's the best way to do that? There are, again, a lot of opinions, just like everything with parenting and babies, but there's also evidence-based information that I'm going to share with you. And so babies don't really need a whole lot before they're 12 months of age, but you can start introducing things. Sometimes it's more food before one is just for fun, but it's not just for fun, because if you are going to introduce foods, you want to do things that are going to support their healthy gut and development and not cause any food allergies and not cause any distress in their tummies. And you want it to also provide the nutrients and support they need for their quickly growing body. So which foods when? And of course, there's lots of opinions on this. You really want to focus on good fats and proteins, foods that are rich in iron and zinc, just like mom's breast milk. And so I have a book that I recommend to all of our mamas. It's called Super Nutrition for Babies. You can find it on Amazon. There's this orange version book, and then there's another one. I think it's more like blue on the cover, but same book by Catherine Ehrlich and Kelly Genslinger. This book is great. It's based off of Sally Fallon and the Weston A. Price Foundation information that I shared earlier. And basically, it talks about the best foods for optimal nutrition for a baby. So you're going to start with good, healthy fats and proteins, typically from animal-based sources such as egg yolk, beef liver, pate, slow-cooked meats, and bone broth. Things like that are really going to give baby what they need. And then, of course, slowly introducing things such as slow-cooked vegetables, fruits, and really avoiding grains. Babies are functionally grain intolerant. So I know a lot of pediatricians and people will say, oh, rice cereal fortified with iron and this and that. That is been outdated for a while, and it's thankfully becoming more and more known that babies should not have rice cereal. And there's the myth that if you give babies rice, they'll sleep better. No. Don't do rice. Don't do grains for babies, at least until after the first year. They're not ready, and it can cause issues in their gut health. It can cause leaky gut syndrome. It can cause just a whole lot of imbalance in their bodies. Supplement wise for babies, a good baby probiotic is good. We carry the what's it called? The Designs for Health and the Claire Labs brand at our office for babies to add some extra good bacteria probiotics to their body, especially if your baby was born via C-section. It's important that they get probiotics as early as possible because they didn't necessarily get the vaginal microbiome health from a vaginal birth. And you can do seeding postpartum where you take that bacteria from mama and put it on baby. But again, a good probiotic for babies is really helpful. Okay, so if you have any more questions about which foods when, nutrition, breast milk, neurology, please go ahead and chime in. But so we talked about love and connection, optimizing their neurology, optimal nutrition, superfoods for babies. And then the last one is decreasing toxins, which I pretty much already covered amidst the other ones. So those are going to be the big ones, you guys, to have healthy, happy, thriving babies. You want to do all those things. Get them adjusted as soon as possible after birth. Have the healthiest preconceptive and pregnancy journey you can. Have the safest, healthiest birth you can, as well as really focusing on healing for mama and baby postpartum. Give them the nutrition they need, decrease those toxins, give them lots of floor time, tummy time, all the love. And really, you guys, if all those boxes are checked, or as many as possible are checked, you're looking at a healthy, happy, thriving baby. And that's what the world needs, is healthy, help, healthy, happy, thriving humans. The world will change if, starting from the beginning of life, we can be loved and nourished the way that God intended. Then, we're really building the world to thrive as well. So I would love any feedback as you've made your way through this webinar. Thank you for listening. I did 30 minutes. I covered it all, which I'm surprised. Again, I think I could have kept going and going and going on each of these topics all day and just had a whole day of me talking about how much I am passionate about these things. But thank you for sticking with me for 30 minutes. I hope this was encouraging. I hope this was empowering. I hope it was motivational for you. I hope it was exciting for you to think about that with these simple things, you can create and have the healthiest, happiest baby that you can. So thank you, parents. Thank you for doing all the work you do, all the sacrifice you make for growing this amazing next generation of babies. All right, with love, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining in.